Frozen in this moment, the last, and I know it. Think about the winners with hands with the coldest. Think about handout, shit, it's still growing. Think about the world, how we didn't even notice.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Cabinfeverpcast. It's Thursday night, which means it's podcast night. And we're joined by one of the best, one of the greats, the fighting pride of West Cork. We've got Dee Begley in the office with us. So we got to say a big thank you. She's back, which means we said we'd have her back before she'd had a fight. She's going to have a fight this year. She's going out on the 22nd of March. I'm hoping I got that right. I got a little smile there, so I think I got it right anyway, so that's the main thing. But we're going to have her on the podcast. We're going to talk all things boxing, fighting, MMA, jiu-jitsu, everything. We're going to really test her knowledge now on all things fighting. So she knows how it goes. You guys know how it goes at home now at this stage. So we're going to see, God willing, everything will work out. If I just press this button, we should have Dee back. Dee, hello, how are you?
Hi, Terence. How are you?
Very good. Everyone at home can hear us. Give us an old thumbs up at home if you can hear us, because last week everything decided to go belly up on us. But if you can hear us, we hope you're enjoying it. How are you, Dee, anyway? How was your Christmas? You got great news at Christmas, I heard.
I did. Yeah. I got engaged at Christmas, so it was really nice. It was a great December. It was like the week before my birthday. So, yeah, loads to celebrate, and yeah, managed to get home then for Christmas. So yeah, very, very happy. It's a nice way to end 2020.
He had it all planned, I'd say. Was it the week before the birthday? See, then he didn't have to get you a big birthday present because he'd already asked you to marry him the week before.
Did I get a birthday present?
That was a birthday present and Christmas present all wrapped up into one. See, that's my type of guy. Got it right. Cleared a lot of bases with that one, I'd say.
You did.
So how's life?
100%.
Talk about this fight you've got coming up. Tell us about it. Who is it? Who is she?
Yeah. So her name's Indra Davis. She's from Galway. She's been training for a good few years now. She's probably been doing MMA as long as I've been doing it. She's a purple belt in jiu-jitsu, so it's going to be a nice clash of styles. Like, she's going to be like grappling, jiu-jitsu. I'm not sure what level of striking she has, but I'd be confident enough myself with my striking, so it'll be good. Like, I'd like to maybe showcase my wrestling skills a bit, so maybe you'll see a few takedowns out of me. We'll see how long the fight goes on for. So it'll be good. I'm really excited about it, because last year, especially towards the kind of latter end of last year, I had a lot of fights kind of fall through on me. I was supposed to fight in August, September, October, and it wasn't even, well, the first two, the girl I was supposed to be fighting was kind of humming and hawing about it, and then eventually pulled out. And then when I managed to get a fight in October, I think it was October, Liverpool got locked down.
Oh, okay.
So the show was cancelled. So yeah, it's a great start to the year, and hopefully I'll just be a lot more active than I was last year. You know, I had one K1 fight last year, so hopefully all the training will pay off. I was lucky enough to be able to train all throughout since last June. Just because we're professional fighters, we get away with, we've letters from the promotions that we're signed to. And I live, it's within my 5K. I literally am around the corner from the gym. So I don't really get stopped or hassled on my way there.
You could literally walk there.
I literally walk around the corner. Yeah. I have no excuse for being late. No excuse at all. So yeah, it's probably the only thing I've had over lockdown, well, this lockdown in particular since Christmas, that has kind of been really exciting. It's really kept me going, and the weight cut now I've started the last 3 weeks, so the weight's dropping nicely, so I don't really have to worry about it. And it's at flyweight, which is it's something I made quite easily as an amateur. So in amateur, you weigh in on the day. So for this fight, I get to weigh in the day before. So it'll be a bit nicer,
what's flyweight now?
My last fight. What's that? It's 56 point. Oh no, it's 50. You get a pound weight allowance, so it's 57 kilos.
57 kilos. Ah, right.
Kilos, yeah.
Yes. It's been a while since I made that weight. A long time.
Stop. It's been a while since I've been that way as well, so don't worry about it. It's probably been it's actually been over a year since I've been that way.
Oh, well, it's been definitely a lot longer than a year since I've made 57 kg.
Yeah, so no, it's great. Like mentally, I'm in like a really good place, just that I have that to work towards. Even though like with the lockdown, and because like up until like especially, so I was down home in Bantry for the first lockdown. I know we were talking, and I was doing all my home workouts down by the school with my sister, and like that was great and everything, but it didn't stop me from eating like
everything,
like Cadbury's chocolate bar every single night. Like, so it's really nice now to be kind of back in shape, feeling like my old self. So yeah, it's great, and there's a nice buzz around the gym. There's a good few of my teammates on the same card, so it'll be great. Most of them, there's 2 making their professional debut, and then there's a good few more of the younger lads fighting amateur. So it'll be really good. That way for the gym, it'll be really exciting. And then kind of everyone who's training at the moment has like fights coming up. That's kind of like John's prerequisite, just to kind of keep numbers as low as possible. So, it's good. And some of the girls, like my friend Katie's fighting on Invicta, so we can get ready together. So it's nice to be kind of going through.
You have a training buddy with you.
After.
Yeah, you have a training buddy. Yeah, that always helps.
Training buddy. So it's great. Like, and hopefully now I just get like a lot more fights this year. Women's MMA is kind of blowing up in a big way in Ireland and the UK at the moment. So it'll be exciting times anyway. Looking forward to a lot more fights this year.
Well, at least last time we were talking to you, like you said, you had a couple fall through, and you had a couple then that you were hemming and hawing, and you were kind of going. I remember we were chatting in sort of September, October last year, and you were like, I think I have a fight. And I was like, brilliant, let's get it on the podcast and we'll promote it. And then like 2 or 3 days later, you said, oh no, it fell through. And I was like, oh, bollocks. So even I sort of felt it at this point for you. I was kind of going, Jesus, will she ever get a fight? It's very hard, especially regardless of lockdown, but it'd just be hard finding fights anyway, because you don't pick a fight to lose, but then you have to pick a fight to challenge as well. Like, you know what I mean?
You have to take chances. Like that was like my first fight. It wasn't ideal. It was short notice. But at the end of the day, like I thought I could beat that girl, and I got over there. I'm not gonna make excuses. Like, she beat me on the night. Like, and I think a lot of it was like experience, but the experience I gained from it, like alone, was like, I'm a totally different fighter now. So it's really exciting now to get back in for this one and just kind of like showcase all the improvements, and I'm just like a much more well-rounded fighter, and even those like the knees and elbows, kind of bringing them into my game. And yeah, it's going to be really, really good. I'm really, really excited about it.
You seem excited. You seem happy. Like, you see there's a buzz there. You know what I mean? There's that anticipation of the fight that you don't, regardless of any sport in the world, I don't think you ever feel it until you actually know what it's like to train for a fight. Because it's that buzz, it's that sort of, okay, there's a reason why I'm getting up at 4:00 in the morning to go run. There's a reason why I'm eating just basically paper, and there's a reason why I'm making my body feel like I hate it. There's a lot of it's good. It is a good feeling. Don't get me wrong. It's great feeling training for a fight, but it's a different buzz than just normal training, I think anyway. It used to be great training for a fight. Like, you'd be shit scared, but you'd still be like, okay, yeah. There's that flight
let's do it.
Let's do it. Yeah, there's that fight or flight type syndrome where you go, right, you've got 2 choices here. Either get up off your arse and let's go have it, or else don't be in the game. Don't get in the sport. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I've never been a person now, like I love training. Like, even, the last like year of not having a fight in training, I just love going into the gym every day. I've never dreaded like a training session. So it's nearly like kind of, I don't know what to say, like kind of like it's like euphoric, like going in when you have a fight. It's like, oh, like there's actually something's
purpose
happening now. It's like, it's not just your regular, like, so yeah, I'm almost like Happy Me on steroids because of the, like, not literally obviously, but Happy Me,
for anybody
like,
listening,
from like the buzz is just, yeah, it's like an extra buzz at the moment. Just it's gonna be great. And like I know even for like my parents have been like, oh, like Dee, like thank God you fight because you've been training, and like I think it's affected them, like the emotional like struggles of me not having a fight, then it's affected me. But yeah, so there's a lot of happy people that I have a fight.
There's a place for all that nervous energy and that extra energy that you carry as a person anyway. They're like, great.
Goes to your parents.
You know, yeah. They can have something they do. Do you know what? Thank God she hasn't picked this to do or that to do. At least she's gone the right path. You know what I mean? There's a lot of reassurance in that, I suppose. That they're going, well, at least she's got something. You know what I mean? Like, which is always beneficial. A question for you though: between, you were saying there's a couple of lads making their amateur debuts as well. What's the difference between the amateur MMA and the professional MMA?
So amateur MMA, so the biggest difference is amateur MMA are 3-minute rounds. So they're usually a lot higher paced. You'll see guys kind of going back and forward, and like they're like amateur. Some of the amateur fights are like so exciting. They're a lot more exciting sometimes even than the professional fights, because like that, the pro fights are 3 5-minute rounds. And unless you're fighting for a title, it's 5 minutes. And like the 5 minutes, like you wouldn't think it, but it's slightly like, depending on the fighter as well, but like slightly like slower pace, because you know you have to go that extra time. And another big difference would be the knees and elbows. So you're allowed knee to the head in pro, and you're allowed elbow. So you're not allowed elbow at all as an amateur.
And if you did, what would happen? You just get a point taken off you?
You would. It depends on if it was intentional, if the judges thought it was intentional or it was an accident. It was an accident, you'd get maybe a point deducted. I think sometimes they can be quite harsh though. If you knee someone to the head in amateur, or like actually a good example, a guy I train with, Kiefer Crosby, he fought in Bellator and over in the US, and he was absolutely killing the guy he was fighting. He's winning the fight, and he was literally like throwing the fight ending shot. And your man's hand, just as he was like, Kiefer was going to knee his head, and just like your man's hand was on the ground. So when Kiefer threw the knee, like he didn't think it was on the ground, but it was.
Opponent.
And he got disqualified. So that's like gone now, as even though he like 100% won the fight, like he got disqualified because he threw a knee to the head when the guy was on the ground.
That's
so,
I've seen that happen a couple of times, especially
it's safety though as well. It makes a lot of sense, you know. There aren't a lot of rules in MMA, and then the rules that are there, you like stick to them. The judges aren't very lenient on it, so
and then all the same 4-ounce gloves. There's no knee pads, no shin pads, no foot pads.
Pro is 4 ounce. In amateur, you have 8-ounce gloves, 7 or 8 ounce. They're bigger, 7 ounce. They're bigger. You've a lot more padding. You don't really feel the shots as much. They're like kind of, you know, like professional boxing gloves are like 8 ounce.
Yeah.
They're like you've a lot more padding. So with the 4-ounce glove, like we wear the bigger gloves sparring. You wouldn't spar in the pro gloves, because like the 4-ounce gloves, they're literally a glove with the smallest amount of padding at your knuckles, and you just get cut up from those gloves. So it would not be practical to train in them.
No. You just end up with like
definitely not.
Welts and all
I'd have
types
a
of
lot more scars on my face if I was training, if I was sparring in 4-ounce gloves. So like in training we're quite good. We pad ourselves up, like we have like head guard, shin pads. In amateur as well, you have to wear shin pads.
No headgear though.
You have to wear no headgear. No. You wear shin pads and just the bigger gloves, and then in pro it's bare shin and 4-ounce gloves.
Hell for leather.
Yeah, you just go for it, and there's a big difference between getting hit with a shin as opposed to getting hit with a shin pad. So
speaking of shins,
I'm just happy about it because I'm a striker, so I don't really mind getting hit. Like I'm used to it, but for the person I'm fighting, like, you know,
it hurts.
Not the best time for them.
Yes. No, I remember like 4 ounces is like, what is it? You can't even compare it It's basically like maybe a roll of tissue paper on your hands. That's basically the weight of it, really. There's nothing in them. So you are punching through them, and you can get, literally it's just to stop your knuckles from being fractured, even though your hand breaks all the time. But it's just to stop the knuckle going through. That is literally it.
It is, yeah. Yeah.
You know,
and to kind of curve your hand so you're not poking people in the eye, you know.
Yeah.
And obviously they don't want to be associated with bare knuckle boxing.
Have you watched any of that?
Oh, I actually, yeah, obviously, like, you know, Artem is like a teammate in the gym, and he kind of transitioned over. He fought Jason Knight, who was also kind of another ex-UFC fighter.
Yeah.
So I watched both of his fights, and I thought it was just because it was Artem, and Artem always brings, like, he's like just a brawler. Like, he just brings, like,
it suits
that
him.
was an exciting fight. So I thought that was just class. Like, I thought it was brilliant. And then I know Paige Vanzant fought last weekend.
I saw that.
She lost. I think she lost anyway. I don't know, was it close? I still need to watch it. That would be an interesting one. But I thought her face, like, afterwards didn't look the worst. I think she's probably ended up worse from some MMA fights, to be honest.
Yeah.
Look, it's not something I'd go into personally. Like, I think I'm at my level of barbaric with, like, MMA. But I said that when I was doing kickboxing. I said MMA was too vicious for me. But look where I am now. It's like, you never know. Things might change. But
Artem is just old school type warrior spirit inside him. Like, you can see he's just a hardy fucker. Like, you know, he battered Megan Lally.
Training in the gym, he just goes and goes. Like, it's brilliant. It's great. Like, he's great heart. Like, and it's great seeing him. And he's the nicest guy you'll ever meet. Like, he's so nice. So
he gets rid of all them demons in the ring, I suppose.
Yeah, I think so.
And it's a hexagon 100%. There too, isn't it? It's a hexagon rope ring, isn't it? Or is it? Yeah, it is. It's a hexagon rope ring.
Yeah, it's kind of, it's a weird looking one. Yeah,
it's like an old 50p piece. Is it?
Yeah, they're doing, like, you know, they're really after, kind of in the last year anyway, like, after getting a lot more exposure than they used to get. I think definitely Artem brought a lot more of the, like, the people who watch MMA watching the bare knuckle boxing. And look, they have Paige Vanzant now, so she's going to draw, like, probably even more again, like, you know. So yeah, that is kind of like an up and coming thing. It's not something I'd venture into, but, like, I'll definitely watch it. It's entertaining. So.
Yeah, I'll definitely watch it as well. I watched Artem's and Paulie Malignaggi's fight, and he just boxed the ears off him. Like, he really was. He just, like, Malignaggi just didn't have any answer to anything Artem was bringing to him. Like,
anything.
Nothing.
I don't think he was anywhere near, like, because, like, Artem is tough. Artem, like, has a chin. Like, Artem isn't going down. Like, and I think Paulie just wasn't, like, conditioned to, like, you know, to taking those shots. Because obviously, like, you know, Artem would have been a lot more familiar with getting hit with such small gloves.
Yeah.
Like, the 4 ounce going to nothing isn't that bad. Whereas Paulie, the lightest he probably ever fought with were 8 ounce gloves, with, like, a lot less chance of, like, getting cut up. So I think, Paulie just ate the shots.
Yeah, he really did. He doesn't. It doesn't suit him. And I think, I don't know whether Paige is going to make a big imprint on that. Like, I liked her boxing in the MMA because, like, she sort of stood out striking in that. Like, but I don't know. I just think she can just do something.
I think she's kind of stay at your, like, she was a good boxer in MMA. She's not necessarily going to be a good boxer in bare knuckle boxing, where people are coming from training, like, boxing the whole time.
Yeah,
like,
basically the what I find it, and this is going to sound really stupid, but the bare knuckle boxing is basically the MMA for, like, do you know, it's like the kickboxers, they went into the MMA. You know, the boxers aren't really going to go into MMA. They're going to go into the bare knuckle boxing. It's that one more level above to sort of...
Saying that, on that point, Clarissa Shields is after being signed to... Not Clarissa Shields. Do I have the right person? Oh my God, I think so. She's been signed to PFL, which is like... it's one of those tournament MMA promotions. Rory McDonald is signed to them as well, but they do, it's more like, Warrior, where they do the Grand Prix. It's multiple fights on the night. They do that kind of a style tournament. Last year, or was the year before, they did loads, and the winner of the tournament in each division got $1 million.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
You do that. I get punched in the head a couple of times for that.
There. Maybe I have it wrong with Clarissa Shields. It's definitely an American boxer. She's after signing with an MMA, so she's practicing her kicks and stuff. I've seen videos. I think I'm just doubting myself. It has to be her.
I honestly don't think there'll be too many people to come out now and write under the comments and go, it's actually this, Dee got it wrong. I don't think there'll be too many people.
I'm not that person. I can take that criticism. I can be like, no, I legitimately was wrong there. So,
you can definitely tell the weight cut is on, because all your Instagram now are just nothing but food. All it is this nice prepped food. Is that himself cooking at home all the time for you?
Oh, no, I wish. When I lived in Cork, I was getting that kind of food cooked for me every day. It's so sad. No, so Colin lives in Cork City, so I'm up here on my own. Usually I kind of travel down at the weekend and whatever. At the moment, that's not happening. But I get my food prepped by this company called Healthy Kitchen. I've actually tried a few meal prep companies up here, and they haven't been it's very hard. What I eat needs to be exact. So it needs to be exact to my macros. I need to have so much, veg, so many carbs, and they need to be timed. So it's a lot more important for me to have carbs before I train, whereas I could have no carbs then after I train. It wouldn't and that would help with the weight cut.
Yeah.
So this company, Healthy Kitchen, look after some more fighters. Guys I actually used to kickbox with as well. So I knew from seeing their food that they were legit, that they were going to be really, really good. And the food is delicious. It's so nice. I can have the breakfast, everything is I do 4 meals a day, and it's enjoyable. It's not if I was cooking for myself, I don't really have the time to put that kind of love into my food. It's all just you'll see chicken and rice. The most exotic thing that I'd make for myself is poached eggs, toast, avocado, and that is legitimately my favorite breakfast. So it's not. It's one thing, because I'm working from home as well, so finding time to cook food is hard, to say the least.
But do you enjoy cooking food though?
When I don't have to worry about what I'm eating, but I'm kind of like my dad. My dad has this thing as well, where he has these few dishes that he cooks, but they're his dishes that he cooks. And I'm kind of like that. I make a really nice carbonara. It's actually legit. I make steak very well. I can cook steak, and that is about what I'm willing to put love into it. Otherwise, if I'm cooking, it's especially when I'm outside of camp, it's gonna be something super easy.
Yeah. How do you like your steak? So how do you like your steak? Is it rare?
I'm on the rare side, medium rare. It's really good.
Anybody that cooks their steak like a piece of coal is it's not even worth. I feel sorry for the poor cow that got killed, because I think it's just absolute sacrilege to be doing that to a piece of steak. I have my steak blue. I would actually eat that steak raw. It's still cold in the middle. That's how I like my steak. You know what I mean? It just puts you can see people looking at it when it comes out, and it's still kicking on the actual plate when it comes out onto me. And people see all the blood, and they're eating all the blood, and they're just putting people off on their food all throughout the restaurant. You know what I mean? They're going, "Jesus, you see all the blood on your man's plate," and I'm going, "This is fucking lovely." So
steak is it's probably even though you go out and you're oh no, I could cook a nice steak at home. There's nothing like going out and having someone cook your steak perfectly for you. It's brilliant. They know what they're doing. We think we know, but we don't.
Yeah. Well, I can safely say I'm no chef. I will no good at all. If I didn't have to eat to survive, I wouldn't eat at all. I can't stand cooking. I've said it loads of times in the podcast, and herself is probably sick shit of hearing me say it, but I just can't cook. I fucking hate cook. I'd end up eating the ingredients raw just to get them into my stomach. A diet, no. I see food, I eat food. That is what food is to me. I have no compassion towards it at all. If it's in front of me, I'll eat it. That's it. Simple as. There's certain things I won't eat, but other than that, no, I will eat everything around me. So it's kind of handy.
We're the appreciators of food. So we appreciate nice food when we get it, but like we're also like not willing to make it for ourselves.
I'm guilty of that.
But if someone else feels like a foodie, like Aoife has to be a foodie because Colin is like such a foodie, so he'll make like all nice food, and he makes my dinner every time I go down to him in Cork. He just makes my food all weekend. It's amazing. But like he's the foodie. He'll put that extra bit of love into like making or add something in, or he'll do that. Whereas like I'd be just like, nah, I'll have just like nuggets and like chips, and I eat like a child.
No, Aoife is definitely not a foodie. I'm the foodie in our house. That's the problem. That's why we eat out so much. Like all I have to do is just like speed dial the restaurants, and they kind of know what we're going to order. It's really embarrassing now. Like it's like you call up any of the restaurants in Banff and they go, "Terence, is it you?" And I go, "Yeah, okay, we'll have it 20 minutes," and just hang up the phone. It's really embarrassing, but look. It's something I said to myself during the last lockdown number 1. So this time last year, I said, you know what, Terence, I'm going to learn how to cook. I'm going to cook, like you said, 5 or 6 dishes and just get to learn how to cook them perfectly. A year later, no, not a single dish do I know. Not one single fucking thing. Still takeaways. I'm just guilty for it. But look, maybe next lockdown, who knows? We're here till March.
Hopefully, we'll just say it right now. Hopefully, there's no more lockdowns because I don't know can I cope with anymore.
Yeah, we're in it till March anyway, I suppose. How are you training with COVID and stuff like that? You guys are in a bubble, I'd say. You'll have to go into a bubble at the start of March, is it?
So we're in a bubble. So everyone's obviously isolating at home anyways. And it's very like it's only the pros and the elite amateurs who have fights coming up. And we all have letters from the promotions we're fighting for. And we're just we're just being really smart. Like we're really lucky that like like everyone's been fit and healthy. No one's gotten it. There's been no outbreaks or anything like that. So it is great. And it's kind of like I take comfort going into the gym because I'm not worried about that kind of stuff. It's just like it's like a COVID-free zone. It's brilliant. So we just train away and kind of make the most of it. Like that. It's my break away from because I'm working during the day, so I head off, do my training, and then I'll either go for a run in the morning, fasted cardio, something like that, and then I kind of have sprint work to do as well. So it's good. And at the moment now, because the fight's getting closer, a lot more sparring, so fight simulations, so the full 3 5-minute rounds, and going that bit harder, so ending up with a lot more bruises on the legs and everything. So it's starting to turn that dial up a small bit now. Get ready. It's, do you know what, it's a welcome kind of change as well, because I felt like I was just getting too comfortable in certain positions. So now it's gotten to the point now where John's okay, Dee, out of the comfort zone and do this. It's okay, I'll do that. So no, it's really just kept me going, and I'm just so lucky that I'm able to do it. And that, I'm so close to the gym. So I moved when the gym moved, because it just makes so much more sense for me. I'm in Dublin to be training, so why not be as close as possible to the gym? Yeah,
definitely. There's no point traveling up and down from Cork every night to go training in Dublin. That it wouldn't work. It just I'd say you've got to be what is it? What's the easiest way? You've got to limit the amount of stress you have to put your body on to actually get to training, because the training is going to be hard enough. Never mind doing anything else. So you kind of have to, stay the course, as they say. That's the word I was looking for. Stay the course. I couldn't, as easy as possible.
As easy as possible. Exactly. And one big thing, I especially with trying to juggle everything in and everything going on with COVID, I was getting quite stressed. And I was talking to my nutritionist, Tristan, and I was look, I'm holding so much water, especially to the build up when I was supposed to have the last fight. was like, I just can't, like, I wake up in the morning the exact same weight as, like, you're meant to, like, so you're like, I'm drinking like 4 or 5 liters of water every single day. So at nighttime, like, you're generally heavier. You're the heaviest you're going to be because you're after eating food all day, and you wake up and generally you should be 1 kilo, 2 kilos lighter. But like, I was so stressed that my body just didn't want to let go of any of the water I was drinking. So it was so disheartening waking up every morning and being the exact same weight I'd been the night before. So for me, I've had to do a lot of like mindfulness and like self-care chats to myself, being like, no, you need to chill out, because like you're going to drive yourself crazy. So like, I've been doing a lot more. I'm going to start doing a bit of yoga and stuff, and I've been going out for a lot more like long romantic walks on my own.
What you got the Spotify, the Lonely Love Spotify playlist there? You listen to love songs as the sun sets.
And just being, you know, like, especially now at the moment, just being really mindful of what's within my control. Like, you know, so like, I can't, like, I don't have access to the gym in the evenings. So I'm like, no, I can't control that. So that's why I go out for my runs. I do other things. And, you know, it's like having that, like, you know, I'm doing the best I can with what I have.
See, there, we've got you in your mindful pose there.
Oh,
now,
there
like...
you go, in my element. Yeah. Mindfulness, guys.
Mindfulness,
I just still haven't found, disclaimer, I still haven't found the answer to inner peace, but we're working on it. We will, and I will let everyone know.
If you find it, let us know. Definitely let us know if you find it, because I've been searching and there's been no good, not for a while. Well, we got to talk about a couple of things as well. What do you think about McGregor's last fight, Conor? What did you think about it? How did it go for him? Was there much anticipation in the gym, or?
Yeah, so like, I was as devastated as everyone when he didn't win, and I was like surprised. I was surprised, all right, because like, you know, he is like, I'd see him as one of the best strikers in like that position, in that division, if not the best striker in the division. And it was just those it's like those small little, and you know, it's like, I've seen my friend Katie fought on a show in Cork last year, start of last year, end of the year before, but like, and she got hit with those calf kicks. Those calf kicks are nasty. Yeah. It's not hurting your muscle, they're damaging nerves. You cannot feel your leg, you cannot physically walk after taking those. And it was just Daniel Cormier did a really, really nice breakdown of it, that like Conor kept all like all of his weight like was on the foot, even though he was checking them. He was checking them. So he was checking them, but all of his weight was on that foot while he was doing it. So it didn't really make much of a difference. Yeah. And like, otherwise, look, he's been out of fighting. You know, he hadn't fought since January of last year. And, you know, before that, like, it was an even bigger gap. So like, look, ring rust comes into it. And like, you know, you have to say, like, Dustin Poirier is, you know, he's been around a long, long time. He's a really, really experienced fighter. And, you know, he's coming like this. He's in his prime. Like, Dustin Poirier is in his prime. And, you know, he fought Khabib, he lost. But look, I think it's the matchup of styles. I think 100%, sorry, I know if Conor fought Dustin again, it would be a totally different fight. Yeah. And it's like, you know, it's funny how those small adjustments can make such a massive difference on the outcome of a fight. You know, he like won that first round hands down, like no problems. And then when those kicks started to take their toll, it's like, that's when, you know, you start getting tired, you're not focused. And it's like, you know, the American football speeches, it's like, it's a matter of inches. It's literally, it's like a centimeter. It's not even, it's like, you know, the difference between getting caught with a punch and not is like, it's probably millimeters. Yeah. So you have to be really, really switched on, and fight game is a lot more mental than anything, and you have to be a really smart fighter. So when you start, you know, if you like Conor's leg was compromised and he was obviously in agony. So your brain is then only thinking about this leg that you are like, I need to just keep standing on it. Whereas like that's Conor's biggest asset as well, is he's such a an amazing fight brain. Like, you know, they did a study in, I think one of the hospitals up here did a study, and they used Conor's brain as kind of like an example, and they just said how super fast it was, reaction times, like everything. It was phenomenal. So like when that's distracted with, you know, your leg being
throbbing pain,
you know,
that it was
you're
in,
not going to see the same fighter you're used to seeing. So I think the next one would be an absolute cracker. So yeah, I just can't wait to see him back in there.
It was a
lot more fight.
He needs like, it was a great gauge where he was. Like you can't. I genuinely think it was going to be the fight. It was either going to go two ways for him. If he won it, he would realize that, right, I'm at this level. Like, let's be honest, Cowboy, he caught him with a shoulder. Like, you can't even count Cowboy's fight as a fight, really, because like Cowboy,
it was so short.
Yeah,
it was such a short fight.
Cowboy
like,
didn't even get out of the gates. Like, you know, Cowboy threw one kick and Conor checked it and then smacked him with his own kick and then put him down. Like when he missed with that straight left from the start, he caught him with his hip when he went down. When Cowboy went down to catch him, and like even then,
I think Cowboy though is definitely he's a different level to Dustin. Like I totally agree with you. It's a good way to gauge his level. So you know he should be fighting people who are in the top 10. Like that's where he belongs. He should be fighting people in the top 10. 100%. You know, he made easy work of Don Cerrone. I think if he fought Justin Gaethje, I see that going, you know, similar to the Cerrone fight. Like, you know, Conor making easy work of Gaethje, just styles, everything. You know, Dustin has years and years of experience, and it's his time, like at the moment. So
he's hot,
you know, and you can't help but like Dustin for, like, you know, just his personality and, you know, even his charity work and all that. Like he's a great you just have a lot of respect for him. So you know, like it's bittersweet, but like, you know, it's like I see Conor coming back stronger.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because I don't think I want Khabib to come back to get his head kicked in, but I don't want him to come back because he's a boring fighter. Now you can't dismiss what he's done. Like, he's 29-0 and he's beaten everybody, and fair play to him. He's done that, but he's a bit like a rash. Like, you know what I mean? He's a bit like lava. That's what he is. He like slowly just creeps up on you, and he just eventually it's not really
sandbag.
It's a sandbag. Yeah, that's exactly what he is. Yeah, that's the type of fighter. Now look, he's not. Won't dismiss what the guy has done. 29-0 in MMA. In the UFC, he's what? Is he 15 or 16 in the UFC? I think he is something like that, which is huge, which is absolutely massive. And fair enough, hats off to him. You know, he's a global star after beating McGregor that time. But I just don't like his style, and like Conor always says, styles make fights. So if he comes back, right, fair enough. Like if he goes against George St. Pierre, I think Pierre will just pick him apart, to be honest. I think he's got.
I think if Khabib went up against any like really good like wrestler, have you ever seen this is a very interesting fight to watch. Watch the Khabib versus Tebow. I can't remember his first name.
That was his 5th fight in the UFC, wasn't it?
His 5th fight in the UFC, and honestly, I watched that fight. He lost that fight.
Yeah, he did.
He did not win that fight. So I think, like, you know, it's very much a matchup of styles, and you see, you know, people in that division, in the lightweight division, the likes of, you know, Dustin, Gaethje. Who else did Khabib fight recently?
He missed out on Tony Ferguson.
But a lot of them would be that
times.
kind of more striking, and like striking puts you in, like, I know myself from the training, like sometimes like you're having all the best, like you're catching people with shots. It's great. But if you're up against a good wrestler, your striking's putting you in some compromising positions.
Yeah.
And if someone's able to like eat shots and like take shots and kind of like has good head movement, like the way Khabib has, then he's going to get you down. And, whereas I think, you know, a good wrestler is like Khabib's kryptonite. Like, you know, he's not going to have the success he has with, you know, like the likes of Poirier, the likes of Conor, who are that kind of striking style. So
what do you think is next for Conor?
I must say, when Khabib fought Conor, Conor was, I would say, maybe 80-90% of his capacity. We did not see the best version of Conor McGregor in that fight. So
we're quite biased on McGregor, aren't we?
To see the next. I would love to see Khabib Conor again, just because like he won. He's the only person in the UFC, or he's the only person ever to have won a round against Khabib.
Yeah. I think
he won the third round.
He won the first. No, he won the first round.
Stuffed takedowns.
Yeah,
and it's funny, like John's talked about it in the gym, and like he has nightmares over stuff we do, because he's like, no, that's what Conor did wrong. Against Khabib. He's like, don't do that. It's like, please, nightmares. and it's like, okay, like, so we definitely don't like, and it's just like, it's like that, those marginal errors that lead to that's why I love it so much as a sport, because you have to be the best version of yourself.
Yeah. Like
when you're fighting, no matter who you're fighting, especially at Conor's level, you need to be 100% switched on. And if you are not 100%, then you know it's not going to be your night. Like,
no, you have to answer every question that's given to you inside that ring. Like every question. If you miss one of them questions, you get digged in the head and it hurts, or you get kicked or anything like that. It's going to be interesting. I hope he's still out in Dubai, according to his last time I checked his social. He's still out. He's training in Dubai, so I'm guessing they're going to do a fight in Dubai soon again. But he's on. He hasn't been. Was that declared a knockout? Because he'd have to be on 6 or 8 weeks leave now, won't he? At least. If he's on a knockout,
I don't know. Usually there's actually, I haven't seen any. Usually articles come out after the fights being like, oh, so many. Suspension. I think the medical suspension, he has gotten a medical suspension, and it's more than likely for his leg as opposed to it being a knockout.
Yeah, you know, so that won't be too bad.
Yeah,
we'll have to see who's going to be next for him, I wonder.
Next for McGregor, I would love to see. So I think the next fight in that division is like, I'd love to see a rematch with Poirier. I think that's quite doable. But I'm also like Charles Oliveira in that division.
You can't do that fight.
I know you can't. I know. But like, I love the idea of Charles Oliveira and Dustin Poirier. I just think like Charles Oliveira is such an exciting fighter to watch.
Yeah.
I kind of just like, even his actions going in and out of the ring, I would just love it if he spoke English. I just want to like, you know, like
I think he's the head off Tony Ferguson. I genuinely think he's the head off Tony Ferguson. He's a blonde Tony Ferguson.
Isn't
I think he's the bulb off him. Like, genuinely.
He's like the Brazilian Tony Ferguson. It's fantastic.
I think, Oliveira has to have a crack at it. I think they should now at this stage just give Poirier the title.
I think Chandler Gaethje is a good fight. Yes. I think that's a good one for Chandler. He's fighting someone who's fought for the title before. So I think that would be a really good matchup. I don't agree with Chandler Poirier. It's like, no, it's just one fight. You know, you want something entertaining as well. That happens too fast. So then what we have Michael Chandler, like, or like even like Poirier, like the win there is, you know, say Poirier keeps it, and then it's like, where does Chandler go from there? Because, you know, he's just after joining the UFC. He's like, I think make him work a bit more for it. Like, you know, I think Gaethje definitely, I'd be excited to see Conor fight any of those guys. To be honest, it'll be, you know, I think that's kind of the main, that I'd imagine that's the top five with Ferguson in there as well.
Yeah.
Conor, Tony Ferguson would be a great fight.
It'd be a serious fight. It would be and them two boys would go to the fences. Like they would swing for the fences. Gaethje broke Ferguson's spirit though in that fight. Like you hear them punches, especially when there was no crowd there. You could hear his gloves, like you could hear his spirit breaking every time he hit him. It was like crack, and it was like, and you could hear the.
There are two different types of fighters. There are fighters who throw stinging punches, so those fast, sharp, like, and they hurt. They're like, oh, and then there are people who throw concrete blocks, and you feel it down to your like toes, and you're just standing there like, have I just been hit by a plank? Like, and they're like, I've like sparred with some of the guys in our gym, and very few, but there's one guy in particular. And I'd say he was going light. I think he was. Like, he's a good bit bigger than me. But I felt like he had literally picked up a floorboard and like knocked it off the side of my head. That's how it felt. And there are people, and Justin Gaethje is one of those people who like literally throws logs of punches. So yeah, like he broke Ferguson. That was a hard one. You know, when you just have your favorite, you know, you're going into a fight, even like I wouldn't be as, you know, attached to say Tony Ferguson as I would like to Conor winning. Like Conor winning is like a loss. It's like, whoa, I felt that. Like, you know? Whereas Tony Ferguson, it was just kind of one of those like, oh, did that need to happen? Like, you know, when you see a movie and they kill someone off and you're like, was that necessary?
Yeah. He was quite a nice guy. Yeah.
He was one of the good guys.
They need to run that one back too, because Ferguson was in a big camp. He was supposed to fight Khabib, and then that fell through with Khabib because, to be fair, this time Khabib didn't run.
We discuss his crazy weigh-in that he did for no reason.
Why?
Like, why would you like? I can't explain to you enough how ridiculous that is, because. Like from like a nutrition, a medical point of view, it's not something you should be doing that often, just because like you're dehydrating your body. It's like, don't get me wrong, we do it in the safest way possible, but like the lesser amount of times you can possibly do that every year, the better. That's why people tend to fight 4 to 5 times every year. Like, not so much from like the injuries and stuff. It's like, it's that toll it takes on your body to like get down to the weight. And like Tony, like, why would you like? It's not like he has a lot of fat on him anyway. He's a big lightweight. Like, why are you doing that?
Yeah. I could look. He made a point.
No, it
made a point that he was just a badass, and that's literally what he is. He is a badass. But like, he went from an 8-week camp.
I love his CSO champ shit only. Every single post, every single tweet, CSO, and like all the little emojis.
It's got to happen. I think for Conor next, it's got to be a Chandler and McGregor would be a good fight, because I'd like to see that Chandler get a good fucking whooping, to be honest. I think he's a smart little fucker. Now, me saying that, being smaller probably than him. But I'd like to see him get a slap, and I'd like to see, I'd say, like, because McGregor's probably top 5 now.
Like, sorry, it wasn't an easy fight for him, because Hooker actually gave Dustin Poirier a bit of trouble when they fought first. So it's not like it was an easy fight. It was just, I think it was a bad matchup for Hooker. He has to go through, especially at the moment, like Hooker is not going to be like 100% because there's a lot going on. Like, he lives in New Zealand. So every time he's leaving, all he's thinking about is like, win or lose, I still have to quarantine for 2 weeks before I can see my family. So like, and that's the second time he's after doing this like that throughout all of this. So, you know, hats off to Dan Hooker, because he's an absolute like, you know, he's an absolute trooper, like to go through that, like, you know, but like Chandler McGregor would be good. I don't see that as being a good fight for Chandler though.
I think McGregor needs one more fight to get back into the top 3. I just think he's out of reach with Ferguson. I'm not saying technically wise. I think his ring rust is just too much. Like, his hands, he was too much in a boxing style. Like, I know he's even said it in his own Instagram and stuff like that. But there was no, like, he used to have that old sort of judo. Well, it wasn't judo. It was kind of that kind of. You could see John Kavanagh's style in him, where that hand was always out there. It was in your face, and he was always sort of pawing you at every stage, and then it would just make way for that left hand to come down the middle. Then and he was just here. He was just like that, and it left him short with a good few hooks. It was almost like,
and it kind of nullified like his whole thing, as well as like Conor has such a big reach for his like height, and for that division, he has some reach, and it's deceiving, but he nullified that by the way he fought, like in that fight. Like, he wasn't like throwing those long shots that, and he looked a bit tense, like he wasn't throwing everything as freely as he'd usually throw it. So it'll be, I think once he kind of goes back a bit more to where he was, like focus less on the boxing, you know, because I know he had said, I think on Twitter, that like there'd be there'd be a Manny Pacquiao fighter that they were waiting on, something about that. But Ryan Garcia is fighting Manny Pacquiao, so that'll be actually. I've kind of gotten a bit more into boxing. I'm not going to say it was because of Logan and Jake Paul, but like that has definitely drawn my eyes to the drama of it. I'm not saying like I have always been interested in boxing, but like I saw Teofimo Lopez's fight against Vasily Lomachenko, isn't it?
Lomachenko,
yeah, that was like a class fight against two. And I wish like boxing, like obviously they do it like Tyson Fury and the Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder, like they're two big guys going against each other. But like sometimes they're just some filler shows where they put them up against like, you know, people who just shouldn't be in the ring with them, and it's like, oh, okay, I don't want to see any more of that.
Yeah,
like,
it's workhorse fellas just to get the rounds in. Like that's all that really is. Like, you know.
Yeah.
Journeyman. That was the word. Journeyman. That was the old word we used to have. That was the word we had for fellas that were sort of past their prime. There are more exciting
boxing fights happening, so like, I'll probably watch a bit more of it. Obviously, I watch Katie Taylor every single time she fights, but
that is something I still think is absolutely fucking criminal to this country that she doesn't have. Like, she's not Woman of the Year, or she's not fucking. We don't have a national holiday for that woman because she is.
I know like, what she's done for the sport.
There's nothing else for that woman to do. There really is nothing else for that woman. If she was a man, there'd be a fucking statue of her in the middle of O'Connell Street and everybody be bowing in front of it. I think it's disgusting the way, like.
I think they'll get there. I think, do you know, when she's kind of finished her career and, you know, that you've mounted up all of her achievements, I think at that point people will turn around and reflect and be like, wow, she was like, you know, and I think at that point it'll be like a Rocky style. I want to see a Rocky style statue. Like somewhere it'll more than likely be in Bray, because that's
probably Bray, along the seafront there.
I want to see that. I want to be able to go and get a photo with a Katie Taylor statue. Like that would be class.
That is.
So 100% she deserves it. Like what she's done for Irish boxing, and even like, you know, female like combat sports in Ireland is absolutely massive. So it's, you know, she's world class. Like even you see her last fight. I don't even know who's next for her. Do you think?
I don't know if there's any. She's supposed to go up a weight now to fight. I can't even think now. There was a Matchroom. We're doing another show in the back of the garden. What's his name? Who owns Matchroom? Hearn.
Eddie Hearn.
Eddie Hearn was doing it in the back of his garden again. And something happened. I think she was supposed to fight.
That's the back of his garden. I didn't even realize
that's his house. Yeah, that's where Derek Chisora. Yeah. It wasn't Chisora got knocked out by Pulvanovsky. It was White. It was White, or was it? I always get them two mixed up.
Dylan White, wasn't it?
Dylan White got knocked out. Yeah, that's his back garden. They do that show in the back of his garden. That's literally his house is where they come out of. His living room is where they come out of. They did a behind the scenes thing on Sky when that was, and they literally comes through. He has a big grand piano over on the left hand side, and they come through his living room. That was cool. It was cool.
Like,
down into his garden.
MTV Cribs / like a boxing show, like. Eddie Hearn knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing.
He does, but they have to get that Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua fight on. It just there's no ducking and diving anymore, fellas. Go get it on. Go be the baddest motherfucker on the planet and let's have a go of it. Speaking of that, I'd like to see. I would like to see Diaz and McGregor 3. That'd be good.
That's another good fight.
Yeah. They have to run the BFF fight again, Mazadov and Diaz again. That has to happen.
Yeah, like Masvidal's kind of gone under the radar. Like I think that's kind of the next fight to make, because, you know, Nate Diaz, like as you've seen, like he gets better as the rounds go on. So I would have like been interested to see if that, like, he hadn't been stopped because of that cut, you know, what would have happened there.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that. So that is definitely. I saw that I think Nate Diaz was talking to Ariel Helwani.
Yeah.
And saying that he kind of didn't really have any more interest in going back down to lightweight. And I think that McGregor will be hesitant enough to take the fight at welterweight now.
I think so
I
too.
think he's kind of built his body back down to that lightweight frame. So I don't, unless it was at lightweight. I think Nate Diaz probably would drop to lightweight just for McGregor. But like, I think in the context Ariel was talking about, I think competing for like the belt or just in that division in general. So I think he had no interest.
Yeah, I don't see McGregor going back. I think McGregor will sort of stay at 155 now and do a run. Hopefully he gets a run. See, the only problem, and I can see why he was taken out of the ring for so long, is he's such a crowd puller. Like, you know, you put McGregor on, you're selling out the crowd. You don't want McGregor in the middle of COVID. You don't, because you're not going to, like, okay,
he still did the like that fight was, I think, the biggest pay-per-view the UFC have done.
Yeah.
Or was it the second biggest? It was massive. It was like 2.65 million pay-per-view buys. I'm
trying to remember. Yeah, it wasn't the biggest because McGregor...
Second biggest?
Hold on. I think what they did, it was Mayweather McGregor. Well, in UFC, we'll just say the UFC name. Mayweather McGregor. Yeah. Then it was... who else? There's a fight with Diaz and McGregor too. And then there was Khabib and McGregor. And then there was Dustin Poirier and McGregor too. Oh, that's how I think they run down the big pay-per-views. I think it could be one or two in the difference between that, but I think that's something like that anyway. He's in McGregor has the top 3 out of 5 or something like that.
I think he's all top 5.
Not sure.
I think his fight with so the 2 Nate Diaz fights. Usman and Masvidal.
Yeah.
Was that a fight? That's in one of the top 5s.
He's fighting next week.
There's 4 McGregor fights in the top 5, and then that Usman fight, I think.
Usman is fighting in a week's time. That should be
that'll be a good fight.
That will be.
I'm excited about that one.
Let's see if I can find out. Hold on, it's gonna give it to us. I think the 16 biggest pay-per-views.
Gilbert Burns.
Yeah, Burns. Yeah, Burns knocked out. I watched that fight actually. Oh, jeez, Sports Bible. God only knows what's gonna come up because they were the first ones to give it to us. So, hold on, are they even gonna give us a list? But they probably won't give me a list now, knowing them. Jesus Christ, Couture and Brock Lesnar did the 16th. Hold on. No, we're not going to get it.
I saw that Brock Lesnar, it has 2 pay-per-views, I think, in the top 10.
Yeah. No, it's not going to give it to us. God damn you, fucking Sports Bible. To go through all the breakdown of absolutely everything. You have to hear about the biography of the writer and everything. I just want a list. Just give it to me that simple. Just the top 1 to 16. So all I'm looking for is 1 to 16. Hold on a second. Now it is going down. McGregor was number 1. Diaz, McGregor number 2. Lesnar and Mir number 3. McGregor, Diaz 1. Aldo McGregor. Alves McGregor. Tate versus Nunes. And Holly Holmes versus Ronda Rousey is number 10. There you go.
Oh, there we go.
1.8.
Good to see Ronda Rousey in there.
I can't stand her. I was delighted she was gone. No. She was such a moany bitch.
I thought she was great. Like, I was talking on the podcast last week, and like that was one of the things, you know, when I started like MMA was, you know, have you heard of Ronda Rousey? And I was like I just started MMA. I kind of like barely knew anything about it. I knew of McGregor, all right, but that was probably it. Yeah. And like I remember people talking about like Ronda Rousey, and I was like, whoa, that's really cool that a sport is so well known because of a female fighter.
Oh, 100%
like more
agree.
People, I know John Jones was around, but she was such a draw. Like she really, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever for a sport for like a female fighter to be the biggest draw, like one of the biggest draws out there.
Yeah,
it was just
not
cool.
Disregarding the ladies fighting, the female fighting, but she just as a fighter, and a personality, she
judo style, yeah.
I much prefer Holly Holmes. I was delighted. Or even Nunes.
Was a bad knockout though.
Yeah, that was hard to watch. That was brutal. And then Nunes came along and just destroyed her in the fight after that. Then made her look so amateurish.
Wow.
But then
she's another I'm gonna say I love watching Nunes fight. I got so much enjoyment out of Nunes, like absolutely destroying Cyborg. I got a lot of enjoyment out of that. And I also like Nunes's last fight with Durandame was I loved it. I was like it showed, she kind of showed her versatility. Like she was being outstruck, like she was taking shots, she was not doing well on the feet, and then just like might not have been the cleanest takedown ever, but like she did great after that. Like it was brilliant.
It still worked. It was whatever works. When fighting comes, it's whatever works. That's why my sort of technique on it. Whatever works, doesn't matter. Once it works, it works. That is basically it. That's the way I look at it, especially in the UFC. Like they're all like, oh God, if he just moved his hand there to the left or to the right, he might do this and he might do that.
There we go.
Whatever works. That's all I want to do is whatever works. Whatever's exciting. That's it. And that's really what I'm looking forward to. Hopefully McGregor, we see him again in 2 months, 3 months, I'm hoping. There's a couple of fights up actually. Who else is Adesanya's going into it as well. Adesanya's going fighting soon again.
Adesanya against, who's he fighting again?
I know this. He's supposed to be
Jan Blachowicz, the light heavyweight.
Yeah, that's his prelude to John Jones' fight. That'll be interesting.
Yeah.
But it's no walkover for Adesanya. Like he's staying down the weight. He's not putting on the weight to go up. So like I
think sometimes people adapt better though when they do that. Like I fought like at like the weight category above bantamweight, but walked around at 58 and felt unbelievable. So sometimes like maybe Adesanya, like your body yourself. It's kind of like he knows he's powerful, he's fast, and for Jan, like he needs to be faster than Jan. He needs he's not going to stay standing with Jan because like he is going to
be coming down.
He's
exactly. Going to be coming down from the weight. Like
he wants to keep his speed. He doesn't want to put on weight that's going to make him slow. So I think it's a smart move. Like sometimes people put on weight just for the sake of like, not like, whereas maintaining, sometimes he can maintain, he can build muscle, like small amounts of muscle, like get leaner and all that. But that'll be a good one. It'd be like, what would he be then, a 2-weight champ? So
he will be, he'd be a 2-weight champ as well.
So that'd be interesting.
And do you know what?
I would love to see Adesanya Jones fight, but like John Jones does not want that fight. He does not want it.
No,
I don't think he does. I think he's like he keeps saying, he's like, no, I've moved to heavyweight. I'm there now. He was like, I've done what I needed to do at light heavyweight. I don't know.
But he's a small heavyweight. He's a small heavyweight. Like Jones,
I have never been a big fan
of John Jones.
No, not at all. Just with all the steroid use and just as a person, he's not a good person. Like he's the stuff he comes out with. Even watching him fight, like I probably like Jones wasn't fighting that much since I've joined the sport and started watching the sport.
Yeah.
His fights before, like maybe they probably were phenomenal. They were class.
Unbelievable.
But like then like I see him, like I saw his fights with like Cormier, obviously like they were good fights, but then the Reyes fight, like he lost that fight and he just did not look good. Maybe he had a bad, like I just don't see him as that. Maybe it's like, a matter of time. I just don't see him as that exciting fighter that people make him out to be.
I like him. I do like him. He mixes up his styles an awful lot, to be fair. Like there's that elbow, like that elbow comes out of nowhere, and he seems to either bring it up the middle or bring it down from the top, and it's unbelievable. Like I really, really like. I like a lot of his things. Like he reminds me to a certain degree, only to a certain degree to my names are gone now. It'll come to me there now in a couple of seconds. What's his name? He used to always wear the white mask from Brazil. When he was weighing in, he fought everybody. He's been around for like donkey's years. He always wore Anderson Silva. Yeah, he reminds me of that. He reminds me of that sort of really free, sort of freak kicks out of nowhere, can like catch you on the chin type thing. I like that fight.
The Vitor Belfort fight.
Yeah, front kick to the teeth.
I actually saw a clip of it on Instagram recently, and I was like, wow, that was like, because he, like, Anderson Silva now is a class fight. He's so outrageous.
Yeah.
I remember seeing him fight first and being like, this is the guy everyone's on about. I was like, he looks ridiculous. Like, what's he doing? Like, And then you see him in action. It's like, wow, okay, it works. Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is, but that works.
It's whatever works. I keep saying it. It's whatever works. It's whatever works. Now we've got to get it. Like, yeah, I don't know. This was actually the first fight of McGregor's I didn't have the cozy that I had to watch at home.
Oh yeah! Oh my god!
Which was really strange.
Will we talk about the time that you turned off the screen with it? And thank God it was like it was like I think the fight was like at 0 or 1 second, and it's like you could have left that off for like 13 seconds, and none of us would have seen that. You could have been the reason. Like, thank God you weren't, because I don't know would I be on this podcast.
Tell everybody to shut the fuck up, like quickly pipe down the swab. It's like. I remember after that fight, after locking up and everything, and I'll say this now and probably get myself into a world of trouble now if I ever open again, or we'll see what happens to poor Cozy, or if the pubs ever open again. But I remember turning the key in the door and just walking away, and there was like 20 lads outside just like scrumming in the middle of the street, just singing ole ole ole, and I'm just going, oh my god, I need to get out of here fast. So I just jumped in the van and took off up the road, and I was like, look, bye. But yeah,
they were not here. They were not in my establishment.
No, my establishment 100%. No idea where anybody was. I've no idea what happened on them nights. But it was the very first one, and I got up to watch it, and I watched it, and it was like. It was just a weird feeling. Like, he didn't even seem too downbeat about after losing it, because I watched the interview afterwards. Like, he's like, yeah, this one doesn't sting as much. And I was kind of going,
I think it's because he knew it's like it wasn't like Poirier had a better game plan. I think he just felt he was like, no, that like he legitimately. Whereas I think with the Habib fight, it was. It's a different person. It wasn't as personal. I think, when it's personal, it probably hurts a lot more. Whereas Dustin, it's like, he knows he can run it back, he can, small things, where with Habib, it was so personal. He was like, probably like, oh, I don't think that will happen again. Yeah. And to this day, it hasn't.
No, it'll be interesting to see. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. It's one of them things, and do you know what? It's well above our pay grade now at this stage. I don't think me and you talking about this on this podcast will sort of turn any tides.
We'll just ring Dana there and be like, I think Dana, you should make these matches.
What's the crack?
Yeah, please
just do it. Fuck it. Yeah, but see, then again, like if I was Dana, I wouldn't want McGregor to fight unless there was a stadium there. I know he
made a comment. I remember. When he had the shows on first and people were asking, I think McGregor, remember when he shared all the messages in between them? Yeah. And I think Dana was quoted saying, oh, it's very hard to give up a McGregor gate.
Yeah.
Like the amount of the fact that they were able to sell some tickets for the Poirier McGregor fight, I think that's why that happened. So
2,400 people at that, I think. Something like that, something small. There was less than 3,000. I think there was
I think the tickets were something outrageous. Like they were like, I know they're outrageous in Vegas, but I think people were paying
tens of thousands,
like $250 a ticket.
No, there was a ticket go up on sale. I saw for about $15,000 to go into it. $15,000, and like even that would get you fairly close in the MGM. That would get you like to the bottom level of the MGM. So like you can go
ringside,
no, not ringside. You don't get ringside. You can't actually buy ringside. You have to get invited to ringside in them fights. I remember looking at I was over there for Rampage Jackson versus who was he fighting? And I went to that fight in Vegas, and like I was fairly high up now, and I still paid $300 for my ticket. Yeah, it was expensive to get in there. Like you tried to book online then to get anywhere close. Ringside, like so the first 15-20 rows back are all ringside VIP. You don't get to buy them. It's invite only. And then as it works up, like you're still talking to be sort of 20 rows, maybe 15 rows back, you're still talking $5,000 like a ticket.
Yeah.
There's a lot of money in Vegas, like,
It's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's a lot of money to give
you
up.
can see why Dana isn't willing to. Yeah.
No, when you turn around and you go, well, there was 10.8 million at the gate of a McGregor fight. Like, you're kind of going, that's a serious amount of money. Like, it's a lot of money to give up.
I think if they were to compromise, like, you see the Super Bowl was on in Tampa, and they had like hundreds of like thousands in that stadium. I know it's open air, but like in somewhere like Florida, you could 100% do. I think originally that fight was supposed to be in Florida.
See, Florida, you can't get a fight license for MMA in Florida. This is the problem, because every state has their own legislation to combat sports. I was supposed to be
fighting in Florida in last April.
Oh, maybe so. I don't know. I thought you couldn't get it. I thought you couldn't get the UFC gloves, or well, not the MMA gloves registered in, because I know like New York was only up until McGregor had that fight that they managed to get into medicine. Oh no, it wasn't McGregor. It was Alvarez, that he fought inside there. That was the first one. That was the MMA one. But yeah, there's certain states you can't. They outlaw it.
Maybe you can't then.
I don't know. That's what I heard anyway. I don't know whether it be true or not. That could be just something you'd pick up along the way. But yeah, there's certain states, and it seems to be what you're sort of gathering from the way Dana White's talking about it, is Dubai is the only place to do it, and he has to be getting paid a lot of money to be putting them there. And like if he has to do a McGregor fight in COVID times, and he's doing it in Dubai, and not like he's moving the entire project all the way to Dubai rather than just doing it in the Vegas complex that they have, like they're doing this weekend. There's a reason he's getting paid to do that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, I don't know. We just got to watch this space. Hopefully he'll fight again before the summer's out, and maybe one more at the end of the year. And it'll be interesting, but I hope the fire is still in him. That's what I hope. If he gets one good run, I want him to do one more good run at it and then go, look, I've had my fun. I'm good looking, thanks.
I want to see him hold the title again. I want to see that.
I do. I want to see him the lightweight title, and then that's it. And then don't go into the boxing. I just don't think he needs to. I genuinely don't think he needs to go into the boxing. Not that he couldn't handle it. It's just, what's the point, man? Like, yeah, I don't know.
It's like, you have enough money. How much money do you really need?
Yeah, that's what Dana White said after that. He says it's hard to be hungry when you come in like a 200-meter yacht. You know, he says he's got a whole sort of Rocky Tree type mindset right now, where he's gotten he's too rich to be hungry or something like that, or he's too full to be hungry. So maybe we have to see. I saw John Kavanagh put up a post there during the week on Instagram. He says like the 3 versions of McGregor. Now, welcome back. The
Mr. Bad Guy.
Mr. Bad Guy is back. Yeah. So who knows? Maybe the hunger's back. It's hard to be hungry though. It's hard to be hungry when you're sitting on that much cash, like.
Oh, like, but when you're obsessed with something and it's not for money, then like when you've other reasons like to do it than money, it's nearly like you have to be a special type of crazy, but you need to be obsessed with it, like, you know, and that's like McGregor is. He's obsessed with fighting because, like you said, he has no other reason to be doing it otherwise. Like he has more than enough money. He just loves it. He just loves it.
Look, everybody's got their kryptonite. Everybody's got their kryptonite. Right, so where can everybody, we got to put up your post, where is everybody can buy the fight from? Where are we going to get your fight online?
So you can buy this. So there's a link in my bio on Instagram, and I've shared it a good few times on my Facebook page.
Cool.
It's Clan Wars 40. It's on Sunday, the 21st of March. So it's pay-per-view link. There won't be a crowd. So yeah, you can buy it on my website. It's about €15. I think it's in pounds, like 13 pounds and 21 pence. So yeah, you can get that on my bio, and you know, the more people who buy, the better, because I just have to have so many tickets sold, just because like the event, because they don't have a crowd, like usually it's very easy for them to sell out their tickets, especially with such a stacked
card.
With just such a stacked card, so many professional fights, they usually sell out no problem. But because they're like funding all the costs now through these pay-per-views, we just need to have so many sold over the next few weeks. And it's less stressful for me if everyone buys them now, because I don't have to be worrying about it closer to the fight. So I would be very, very appreciative if people who are thinking of buying the fight closer to the time, if you do have the cash, to just buy it now. And look, there's no, like, if you're just buying it the day before, 100% by all means
just
buy it the day
fucking
before.
buy the fight. That's what you're supposed to be
Just
saying to
buy
people.
it.
Just fucking buy it.
Just buy it. Just buy it.
He needs a new pair of shoes. That's what we need.
Like, I am really, really excited about this.
Good.
Like, I've been excited about past MMA fights, but like when I see, you know, like even looking back, like we tape all of our spars.
Yeah.
And like when I look at my spars now versus like a year ago, and like it's giving me goosebumps. I'm like, I cannot wait to go inside that cage and just let loose. Like it's going to be good. There's been some massive improvements. So yeah, very excited. It's going to be an exciting year. There's a lot is going to happen this year. I'm not currently signed to like a multi-fight deal with any promotion. I'm trying to be as smart as possible about that. I don't want to tie myself in somewhere that's not going to get me to where I want to be. And I want to be in the UFC. So, so I'm just, there's going to be a lot going on this year. It's going to be really exciting. I have some amazing sponsors on board, some new sponsors who came on board for this fight. And some who've just been with me since the start of my MMA career. So I'd like to give a huge shout out to Exceed Fitness and Ballincollig. So Leon and the guys have been with me since I first started training MMA, and they looked after my nutrition back then, and now they look after all my strength and conditioning, and they've been a massive support throughout the years. Gym Plus Coffee, they've been with me from the start as well. They've helped fund some of my trips for like as an amateur, and they're just constantly helping me out all the time, so that's great. And Elite Sports Recovery in Cork, so I go there, do my sauna, use the recovery boots. It's not at the moment, they're closed, but like TJ, he's great. Like they send me out massage guns, all that. So really good for anyone who's looking for like recovery. And ROS Nutrition have come on board recently, so they're an Irish-based protein company. I was actually really excited about this one because, like, you know, you see people ordering from my protein and all that. It's like, why not support like an Irish company?
Yeah,
you know, right. So ROS Nutrition are, and like I am not, like I wasn't a protein. I hate the taste of protein. I actually I don't even like Fulfill bars. I don't even like Fulfill bars. And so I went really plain. They asked me, it's like, oh, what flavor of protein do you want? And I was like, oh, let's go with vanilla. We're just going to try that. Like, and it is the nicest thing ever. I just have it with water. Some people are like, oh, it'll taste nicer if you put it with almond milk, but just straight after training, I can't be drinking like almond milk. So I cannot get over how nice it is. It tastes like a vanilla milkshake, no taste of protein. It's like so nice. Couldn't get over that. So very excited to be working with those guys. And I have Healthy Kitchen. They're helping me out with my food. So that's brilliant. I always forget people, so I apologize. Like Tristan, of course, like Tristan Kennedy, he looks after my nutrition. He's just back from being over with Connor in Abu Dhabi, so delighted to have him back and him helping me out for my camp. He's an absolute genius, so always make sure I make weight safely and in the best form as possible. Make sure I'm all relaxed and all that, so it's great. I have some fabulous support. And then Barry O'Callaghan in Alpha Fighter Management. They're kind of Barry looks after kind of sourcing me fights, sourcing me new sponsors, and all that. So it's great. Like it's really, really good. And yeah, so like it's exciting times. Yeah, and I like any sponsors who are looking to get on board, like you're more than welcome. The more the merrier, and like I can always use a help with everything. Like it's great. And another big shout out to Paul Bradley in chiropractics. He looks after all of any of the niggles I have. My neck cracks it probably once a week, and my back, because I'm just in such bitch. Wrestling really takes it out of you. So yes, to Paul as well. So yeah, very, very happy with everyone.
And if any of them sponsors want to sponsor this podcast as well, more the merrier. I don't mind at all.
Yeah, 100%.
So what's the road to the UFC look like? How are we gonna get you to the UFC? This is what, because I'm hoping we're gonna have a big screen, in a very special place in Bantry at a very special night at a very inappropriate time in the day that we're gonna have a Dee Begley fight on.
That is the goal. I'm not even going to say it's a dream anymore because I know it can happen. So like that's where I'm aiming for. And like, so there's a few ways I can go about this. There's, I could have another 1 or 2 fights on Clan Wars and then try get on any show that is promoted on UFC Fight Pass is a really nice way to get your name out there and get noticed by the UFC, because it's obviously being streamed on their platform.
Yeah.
So like for me, I think once I have like for females, like they're always sought after high level females. So once I get 4 or 5 wins on the trot, like I think I'm there. I really am. Like my fighting style is really exciting.
Mm-hmm.
It's something they don't have that much of, like so it'll be really, really good. And it's going to happen. It's like it's inevitable at this stage. So just waiting for the right opportunities to come up. And like I'm not one to turn down fights at all. Like I'm like begging people. Like so the girl I'm fighting on the 21st, I called this girl out when Clan Wars had a show the first week of December, and I'd asked them when they were matching people, I was like, can you ask this girl to fight me? They were like, oh, but she's not a pro. And I was like, I know, but I feel like she's the only one in the country who would potentially say yes. So will you please just ask her? So
in
then
the nicest way possible.
When my coach messaged me being like, oh, like they have you matched with like this girl, Indra, and I was like, I asked for her in November. So I was delighted. And it was one thing I said like on a previous podcast was like, I really appreciate her taking the fight because like, I'm not an easy fight. And it's so I'm like, yeah, buzzing. It's like, this year is going to be good. It's blowing up in a big way. Like I remember I sat down with John before Christmas and I was getting a bit low. I was getting a bit to the point where I was like, John, like I've like, this is getting frustrating. I was like, I've no fights. I've been training. He was like, Dee, he's like, just stay the course. Like, he's like, when things open up, it's going to open back up in a big way. And he actually did say, he said March, April. And like, sure enough, here I am sitting with a fight for March. So like, trust in your coach, guys, no matter what sport you're in, they know what they're talking about. So, so it's good. It's good. Yeah. Like I'm like the UFC is definitely, the next few years will be exciting, and you will 100% see Dee Begley on a UFC card over in Vegas, and you'll be able to see me from your screen. So it'll be like,
And when you get to the big shot in the big league now, you'll have to come on this Cabin Fever podcast when I'm probably old and grey, and it'll be next year. This time next year, you'll be in front of the camera going 60 G's, baby, with a big knockout, and you'll be delighted with yourself. I can see it. It's definitely going to happen. It's going to happen.
Like, I'm going to say it here because there's a few people who will appreciate it. I'm not going to be a 60 G's baby, but there's I'm trying, like, the way people have fight names and all that. Like, So really close friends of mine have been trying to convince me that like I'm obsessed with minions. I have minions. Like I'm just going to show you. I have like these are my 3 minions. I'm obsessed with these guys. Obsessed, right? So people are trying to convince me to Despicable Dee.
Despicable Dee. That's a cool nickname. That's
going to be my fight name.
That's
Despicable
cool.
Dee. So
I like that.
Yeah,
that
you
is
heard
good.
it here first. You heard it here first.
There we go.
Officially announcing it. I've embraced it to the people who wanted me to take it as well. Because at first I was like, oh, it's so cringe. I was like, no, like they're going to want me to walk out in like a minion outfit. And I was like, no, I'm embracing it. It's like, yeah. So Despicable Dee.
It's you. It says everything.
But when you think about it, think about The minions. I'm not a despicable person. It's about the minions. So
everything goes out the window
Yeah,
once the gloves get put on. When the cage gets closed, it's a different one. The despicable comes out.
exactly. I'm such a, people probably look at me and hear me talking and they're like, whoa, like I get it all the time. Like I meet people. When I started my new job back in April, I was meeting people and they'd heard about me before they'd met me, and they were like, oh, an MMA fighter, and they kind of looked at me being like, you're the MMA fighter? I'm like, yeah, like, and they're like, but you're they're like,
but you're nice.
You're like, they wanted to say, you're so nice and smiley, and but there's nothing wrong with your face, I'm like, yeah.
Just
That's
like
how good I am
missing
at it. I have
half
no
your
bad
face,
cut.
and your nose is like this, and your ears then come out like that.
Like next time, I know am I like delighted or not, but like you should see some of the horrendous. I actually got the worst black eye ever from jiu-jitsu, not even from MMA. I've been quite lucky with MMA. I think the worst I had was I actually did, exciting, in one fight. So I was fighting this Italian over in the Worlds. And like the first round was going really, really well for me. I was like class, like absolutely picking her off, but more like kickboxing style, kicking her off. And then like she was after coming down from the weight above, she was a featherweight.
Yeah.
And I was like, so that's like 66 kilos. And I was fighting at 61 kilos, but walking into the cage at like 58. So she was a big girl. So,
coming down. Yeah.
The second round, she was like, okay, I need to try stop this girl. So she gave me an almighty right hand, like right here into the eye. And I felt my face was like on fire. And I was just like, oh, that can't happen again. So I ended up like backing her up against the cage and like getting a TKO stoppage. So I won the fight. But then afterwards, I was like in the pool trying to relax in the hotel. And like whatever, like water got up my nose or something, and I sneezed. Yeah. And then my eye all of a sudden blew up.
Yeah,
I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
It was after fracturing my orbital.
Yeah.
So I end up with some black eyes and everything, but like no permanent like
touch
damage.
Wood. Touch wood.
We're all good. So
we've got the hardest part of our podcast coming up now, Dee. You know this. You've done this before, but this time we've got different questions. Can you remember what you hated the most?
We're not rehashing previous answers to any questions. Disclaimer: anything from mentioned in previous podcasts especially this question time, is not true.
You don't want to mention what happened the last time we asked you what is the one thing that annoys you the worst. Other people's children, I think, or something like that.
New question.
We have new questions. So, as always, Dee, thank you so much for doing this. We really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule and all your training schedule. All the best from us. We really appreciate you doing this, and best of luck. We'll definitely be buying it. We're going to be putting it up on our links as well to see it. Because we'll have to watch it. We'll have to be roaring at the TV going, fuck that. So you might hear us from all the way down here in West Cork. We're going to be posting all your links, so we're making sure that we do the best we can for you, as always.
Brilliant.
But we have the hard part. This is it. This is the hard part now. This is the rapid fire. We don't have 30 seconds anymore, but we've got a rapid fire. You've got to be quick, right? So you ready?
Okay.
This is the hard part now.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Which is worse, washing the dishes or doing laundry?
Washing the dishes. 100%.
Chocolate inside the fridge or outside the fridge?
Inside the fridge.
Coke or Pepsi?
Coke, 100%.
Do you hang the toilet roll over the top or underneath?
It comes over the top.
You can hang it from the back as well.
The other way. Why would there be another way? Okay.
iPhone or Android?
iPhone.
Who's your favorite actor or actress?
Dwayne Johnson. And Kevin Hart. Can I have two? I love them both together. I just like
in a hotel room, would you like an ocean view or a city view?
Ocean view.
Yes. Are you a dog person?
Bantry, like, live by the ocean. Need that.
Are you a dog person or a cat person?
Dog person. Love them.
Favorite day of the week? Friday.
I don't know why though, because like I work on a Friday. I just like the idea of like probably realistically a Saturday, but I like to say Friday. Maybe because it's like Friday.
Yeah, Friday feeling. Bar Ireland, what's your favorite country in the world?
Favorite country in the world. Favorite country in the world? Oh my god, that's hard. Okay, I have been to a lot of countries. I loved Barbados. Barbados was amazing. It was like, I'm sorry, if you're going on like a honeymoon, whatever, Barbados had the coolest people. They were just class. They were like the bus, so like the local buses were those like VW like vans.
Yeah.
And like you'd be walking down the road and they'd stop in the middle of traffic with like all the lines being like, are you getting the bus? And like you're like from halfway down the street, no, we're just walking. And they're like, okay. And then they're just like, they were the coolest people ever. Totally. We're going back there 100% there.
Oh, do you know what? I have to add that to the shopping list. I've never been, so I'll have to add that to one of the places that we'll definitely have to go. So Dee, thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it. Best of luck with the fight. Of course, we'll be keeping our fingers and toes and everything else crossed for you. And we might talk to you after it. We never know. We'll see what happens, and we'll see where we go from there. But from all of us, the very, very best of luck with it. All right. Thank you so much for doing this. We really appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Darren. It's lovely talking to you.